And we are live. What's good, Josh and man? DL Saint. What's up? How y'all feeling? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I really want to know podcast, y'all. What's good, y'all? How y'all feeling? I hope all is well out there. Happy Thursday. We're almost through the week, y'all. Almost through the week. It is Thursday. So I hope all is well on y'all end. Things are good on this end, I assure you. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Let me check out and see what's going on with the sound. Always doing You always pull up the live stream just to see. And it looked like it worked there for a second. It was probably a little feedback on there, but I'm assuming it's okay. I'm just gonna let it rock. While I'm over here, I'm gonna hit that like. For anyone who jumps in here, man, please go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know what I mean? Continue to support this crazy old man who's sitting in his attic. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Let me try out the horns on this thing because we're gonna have people popping in. And I want to show love. Yeah, we good. We are good. So what's up? We're gonna talk a little bit about Hollywood today, y'all. I was sitting around making I did a short, did another short, like the DL short. So like I do this always goes like an hour and a half, 2 hours. When I do like a I really want to know, or if I do a downrange, like if I'm talking politics or whatever. But I'll sit in front of my television and I'll play some stuff on the television and then I'll react to like what I'm seeing on TV. And those are normally about 12 to 15 minutes. I don't think I've done one over 20 minutes. I like to keep those short, and then I make those 1 minute shorts and I post them. So that's what I was doing today. I was just kind of making shorts and making the YouTube shorts, the 1 minute joints. And I did one Myron and Fresh were talking about, that episode they did on running rotations. And it was one part in there where Myron was talking about a technique that you could use, you know, um, and I know the technique works, but there's a lot of people who watch Fresh and Fit, and these guys just don't have the status yet to run these type techniques. And I did a little short on that, and surprisingly, man, that thing just kind of took off for me. It's like already over 1,000 views. I was like, yo, um, but I was just telling guys, like, look, you have to have a certain type of status. You got to be a top tier dude if you're gonna run that particular technique. You got to be a guy worth keeping. And more importantly, if you run techniques like that, you're not worried about your woman leaving you, which I think is pretty cool. And before anybody say, try to start some drama, I asked Myron what he thinks about it. And Myron started off the whole segment, that portion of the podcast. He said, look, you have to be a certain status guy to try this. He started it off with that. A lot of people who rock in the manosphere in the red pill space, they forget that part. Like you got to get there first and then try these things. So I did that today. It was pretty cool. Um, I thought I was like, hey, it is what it is. Got brother Michael in the house, man. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Always a pleasure to see you. Wonderful 34 is also in the house, man. What's up, fellas? How are y'all doing? Thanks for coming through. I truly, truly appreciate all the support I get from you guys, man. I really, really do. I mean, this is just so much fun, man. And I was watching this thing with Joe Rogan and CoffeeZilla. I haven't watched the whole thing. I don't go to Spotify. I'm pretty sure the whole thing's on Spotify. I just watch the clips that people are putting out. And even CoffeeZilla put out a quick one because he was so happy he did the show. And CoffeeZilla caught Joe Rogan's eye, I guess, a long time ago, because CoffeeZilla does his research and he goes out here and he kind of goes after people who are out here scamming folks, right? And he does pretty good. I ain't gonna lie to you. And his big thing was with Jake Paul, that crypto zoo thing, which I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about crypto zoo. I knew nothing about Dink Doink. But watching CoffeeZilla, I mean, it was very informative. I'm like, oh man, that looks pretty good. CoffeeZilla doesn't look like someone who's chasing clout. He's just like a guy who's out here, trying to help those who have gotten hurt or whatever, caught up in these schemes. So it looks like he caught Joe Rogan's eye, and Rogan invited him to do the podcast. So he, CoffeeZilla, shout out to you, bro. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they were talking about some stuff that I thought was pretty cool that I wanted to bring up. And man, am I frozen? Oh, look, I'm moving again. I was kind of watching myself on the other stream, but yeah, they brought up some stuff, and I thought it was cool. So we're gonna talk about it, man. They brought some stuff up. And they were talking about Hollywood. Y'all know I love talking about Hollywood. I spent a lot of time out there, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I mess around in that world. That's one of the bubbles that I'm in. And man, Hollywood ain't no joke, bro. And that's why I came up with this title. Why is Hollywood undefeated? Kevin Hart said this a long time ago. He said this on Entrepreneurs in Cars Getting Coffee, right? With Jerry Seinfeld. He was like, "Hey man, Hollywood's undefeated." And they are. And why is that? Why is Hollywood undefeated? You know what I mean? Because they got all the bread, bro. They got that industry on lock. There's no one on planet Earth that can touch Hollywood, bro. They got them on lock, and they all work independent, but they come together, man. It's like the mob, bro. They're out there, they're a syndicate, man. And you know what? They run it. That's what they do. They run it. It's on them. I ain't mad at them. I ain't mad at them at all. They run it. So I just thought that was like, yo, that was, you know what I mean? Like, yo, Hollywood ain't no joke. What did I do to my screen? I am so low tech. I am learning so much about computer and tech and systems. I gotta tell y'all, bro. I am learning so much. Sister Candace is in the house. What's good, love? It's always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for all of your support. You know what I mean? One of the most respected mods in the manosphere. Like you, man, people love you, girl. I don't know if you know that, but you got so much respect. They rock with you. They rock with you. So yeah, let's continue with this, man. So I got a couple things I loaded up. You know what I mean? We're gonna pull up a video, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Hollywood. There's a couple videos here. There's one, the chosen class. This is like the 7-minute, 8-minute clip. Rogan and CoffeeZilla was talking about Hollywood. CoffeeZilla was talking, and Rogan was like, "Hey, it sounds like you're talking about Hollywood." And as big as YouTube has gotten, it still is nothing in comparison to Hollywood. Like Hollywood doesn't even care. I mean, it just we're gonna show you why, because it just boils down to numbers, right? And YouTube has a future, absolutely. It's a force to be reckoned with on the planet, absolutely. It's a great business model, I believe. But even with all that, they can't do anything to Hollywood. Not right now. Hollywood has enough money to buy whatever they want. I'm not gonna lie to you. If YouTube continues to grow, and if the market share with YouTube continues to do what it's doing, and people keep coming over, Hollywood gonna come see them. And just like the mob, they're gonna make them an offer they can't refuse. They're gonna come at you like, "Hey, YouTube, how you doing? You have a seat. Yeah, the boss has been keeping an eye on you." You know what I mean? Like that. You gonna cut them in, or you gonna get cut out, one way or the other, man. Like down in in Colombia, when they gonna make that deal, boy. You want the silver, you want the lead, you want the plata or plomo. You know what I mean? So YouTube, get it while you can, YouTube. Get it while you can. So let's check out this video of what we're talking about. And I'm gonna be jumping in periodically to put in my little 2 cents, you know what I mean, about what I'm seeing and this and that. But yeah, I just think it's fascinating because I know that world. So let's pull this up and let's check it out. So again, this is CoffeeZilla on the Joe Rogan Experience, and let's have a listen to what they have to say.
I feel like
you're describing Hollywood. You're describing the problems with Hollywood. In Hollywood, when you make it, like if you're in a movie and you're doing well, everybody loves you. Oh, CoffeeZilla, come on through the red carpet. Let's go. CoffeeZilla is hot now. We want to put him in this movie, and they want to put him on this show. We want to do this. And then when you're not, no one wants to talk to you.
Doesn't that break you psychologically, though?
Of course, that's why they're all crazy. I mean, in Hollywood, it's even worse, right? Because you don't get to choose your own destiny. Like you've developed your own show and you've created your own thing. You haven't been chosen. In Hollywood,
You know what I'm saying? So right off rip, you know what I mean? Right away, because Coffeezilla is like, well, doesn't that make you crazy? Because Hollywood does that. You can go to bed on Thursday nights, tonight. You can go to bed, wake up the next morning, and you're the hottest thing in America. Literally. Hollywood has chosen you. You went to bed after a long shift of making coffee at the corner coffee shop, right? But you auditioned for this. You got a call back for that. You came on, you did this thing, something you shot 2 years ago that you done forgot about. You shot this thing, and boom, it got picked up by one of the major studios, and bam, you wake up Friday morning, your agent's on the phone with you. Like, you wake up to about 15 missed calls from your agent. They knocking on your door. Like, what's going on? Get dressed. We got to go over here and do this, that, and the third. Boom. And they hand you a check for $300,000. Boom. And your show we got you on this thing, man. You're the next big thing. And like Joe Rogan said, everything in Hollywood opens up to you, bro. The red carpet is just the beginning. Everything opens up. Everyone knows who you are instantly. The people who would never let you into their spot, bro, they know who you are instantly. As soon as you walk up, oh, Mr. Hey, DL saying, oh, how you doing, DL? Hugs, selfies. Like, bro, you wouldn't even let me in here last week. You know what I mean? Now you the man. Everything. And it can mess with your head if you ain't ready for it. Let's continue.
with the problem is you're being chosen for everything. So you're being cast in these things. So you have to deal with people that approve you or pick you. So you're formulating your personality based on whatever the zeitgeist is, whatever the ideology of most of the producers are. Like if all of Hollywood was
Joe's about to make a real good point right here. And he's keeping it 100. People in Hollywood are basically told how to act. They're told what their belief is. Why do you think so many people in Hollywood are Scientologists? I mean, come on now, bro. Like, Scientology, are you kidding me? You know, Bill Burr talked about it in this bit. And what bit was that? Sorry you feel this way. He was like, really? Your guy name is Ron? Like, Ron? Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't born thousands of years ago. Like, dude lived in like the 60s. He had a driver's license, a social security card. Shout out to Bill Burr. Great bit. This is why someone asked me who's my favorite comedian right now. Like, Bill Burr. Bill Burr right now is the GOAT. Go check that out, man. Why? I'm sorry you feel that way. That's a Netflix special. But these people are smart enough to know that Scientology is a scam, but they do it. Why? Because that's what Hollywood's doing. Right? So listen to Joe.
was right wing, right? If all the producers and all the executives and all the studios were all very conservative and right wing, all actors would be conservative. They would all be pro-life. They would all be First Amendment, Second Amendment happy. They would all carry guns. It would be 100% compliance. The same way it is with left wing.
He's not lying, bro. People go to Hollywood, man. Now, there are a lot of smart people in Hollywood. Let's keep it 100. There are people who know what they know. A lot of that they need to know to do the job. Like the producers, the executive producers, the showrunners. You know what I mean? Like the assistant people, PAs. Like, these people are smart. And it's not the book smarts. It's not what they learned in college. These people have to know random things because they know they're going to get asked this thing. And if they don't know, then that's it. We don't need you as a PA or whatever. Like, they add to their value by their knowledge, and they know a lot. They read a lot. They got to read a lot of scripts. You know what I mean? You got to write a lot of scripts, right? You got to go in there. You have to do so much. Like, at the bottom, you start as a PA, production assistant. Man, they treat you the worst. A PA gigs, man, you want to talk about something sucking? It sucks. It is worse, bro. That is like, I'd rather drop fries at the restaurant, man. I rather draw the short straw and have to clean up the public bathrooms, bro, than be a PA. But that's where most people have to start. You got to go in there. You got to do that work. You know what I mean? And like I said, most of the good PAs are very, very smart people. but they know everything. They know as a PA, they adjust to whoever it is they dealing with. Or I got this actor over here. I know this person is right leaning, so let me be prepared to hear this craziness. You know what I mean? Or I got this person over here. I know this person was super left, so let me, curtail my conversations to accommodate this fact. Because if you get to a point where the stars are not happy with you, they just mention that I want this guy to go away and you're gone. That's it. Done. So Hollywood forces people to conform, and like the Borg, bro, resistance is futile. They will take you. You know what I mean? So the smart people adjust, and that's how they make their way up. That's how they learn. I know so many producers out here. I know so many people in the business, like executives and junior executives, and they were telling me their stories. But I brought some on this platform. I'm going to bring some more on this platform. You know what I mean? So Joe is 100% correct.
Not necessarily people that think that way. They think that way because that is the way to fit in and be successful. So you take people that already have this exorbitant need for attention, and then you bring them into an environment where they have to be chosen. So you have to figure out what gets me chosen. So you form your ideas and opinions based on what's going to be the most successful. It's a mating strategy.
It's weird because the fact you need to be chosen sort of makes you play the same game that you don't like, which is you have to go to the power brokers and you have to suck up to them the same way people suck up to you when you're successful. You have to go suck up to the successful people.
Yeah.
And now you're playing the same game where you're going to the people who are the decision makers and you're trying to woo them and pretend you're their friend.
That's why when those people do make it and they do get pushed through that red carpet, come on through, Tom Cruise, they're all fucking crazy. A lot of them treat other people like shit because they want to let you know that they're a part of the chosen class. So
he ain't lying right there. And it comes down to every single interaction. Like, and that's not everyone out there, right? I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I've come across some really cool A-list celebrities, A-listers. And I'm talking about actors, I'm talking about entertainers, politicians, you know what I mean? Just wealthy folks, 1%ers. And the majority of the ones that I've personally come across were cool. They've already made it. They've done what they did. The guys the men and women who pulled themselves up from nothing, who got it out of the mud, tend to, again, this is my anecdotal experience, they tend to be the coolest. Like they'll make you a drink. They'll tell you to sit down. Man, you look hot, man. Go sit. Hey, come on in here to the trailer with me. Come sit down, have a seat. It's AC. Won't you cool? Hey, here's some water. You need anything? Oh, I got to get back. Don't worry about them. I'll take care of that. You know what I mean? They'll go out to tell their personal assistant, hey, run over to the producer. Tell him I got Bobby over here with me. And I'm going to keep Bobby for the next hour. I need him to run some errands for me. Run over there and tell him that. And he'll run over there and tell him that. And then you'll hear it come over the radio. Hey, Bobby, we understand you're with the principal. Just stay there until they don't need you anymore, whatever. And they come out and Bobby just sitting there. I've seen that. I've seen the other side too. I've seen the people that Rogan's talking about, like just the assholes. I've seen that. I've been around those guys. You know what I mean? And they do suck. And I was the dude who was, that wasn't my dream to be in that world. So if I'm around someone who's just a bad person, I get up and leave. I don't want nothing to do with you. I walk out. And those people will be seeking your validation. Like you said, they want everyone to love them. They want you to know that I'm one of the chosen ones. They want you to know this stuff. It really messes with their mind when you don't play that game. You ain't even got to talk tough or nothing. It's like, all right, I'm out. Peace. Hey, well, you can stay. I'm good, bro. I'm good. They know why you leaving. And they'll do everything in their power to try to bring you back. It is the weirdest game, man. But it's almost kind of like dating. It's kind of like dating. You hear this in the in the manosphere all the time. The whole nagging thing, the whole thing. Well, don't chase her, she'll chase you. Don't give her attention and all that kind of stuff. That's Hollywood, bro. That's Hollywood. I can't tell you how many times I've had the 1%er, like the billionaire, right? I met a couple billionaires. I've had them just come up to me because they realize, oh, I'm not paying that guy. And he's over here talking to me and he's cool. And it's like, oh man, what's up? And they don't want you to leave their side because they're having a real conversation. And then all the people here paying are just running up trying to interfere or get some attention. And, meanwhile, I'm just trying to, I'm not even paying attention. Like I'm trying to do my own thing. And you don't pay them attention, they pay you more attention. It's the weirdest thing. But again, same thing in dating. But let's continue.
It's like this thing about certain celebrities being assholes to regular people. Like, why do they treat people like that? Well, the same reason why royalty does it. You know, like when you see the queen, you're supposed to bow. Like, this is how it goes down. That's why they became the queen in the first place. That's why they became a star in the first place, because they want to be that person that just gets fucking exorbitant amounts of love and attention.
And if you don't bow, man, I'm telling you, they're on you, bro. They're on you to the point where if they get to the point where you're not giving me attention, I want him gone. Like, man, I'm leaving anyway, bro. I've been trying to get out of here. But it's man, it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and there's so much money involved, man.
And it's very unhealthy.
And it's good, I think, that it's now becoming possible that you can be like a Mr. Beast or something and not be in Hollywood. He's like in North Carolina or whatever.
Yes.
And he can just do his own thing. He can start his own, and he's as big of a brand as anybody.
Yep.
And it's like, it just doesn't matter. He doesn't have to like kind of play the same games. I think that is sometimes I think changes in technology are like neutral. Like, it's like kind of like you win some, you lose some. I think that is a distinct change for the better, that we've kind of decentralized Hollywood a little bit. It's like, you can just start your own show. We talked about being subject to the gatekeepers, but even subject to that, like, kind of mentality of like, everything's about success and fame. And
Yeah, I love Mr. Beast. I think Mr. Beast is doing great things. I agree with everything that CoffeeZilla is saying right here, bro. Like, Mr. Beast is doing what he's doing because he loves what he's doing. That's it. There's no ulterior motive. He's not trying to be rich. If he was just trying to be rich, he'd blow all that money. He gets a lot of bread. But the thing is this: all the money that Mr. Beast has probably made. Now, I don't know how much he makes, and I'm not trying to get into his pocket and pocket watching all this, but I guarantee you, all the money that Mr. Beast has made and gave away and made more and gave that away, all that bread, if you take all that money, he probably couldn't pay for a season of Law and Order. Probably couldn't pay for a couple episodes. That's how much money Hollywood's dealing with, right? I mean, just think about this for a second, right? So you look at, I pulled up, I'm not going to show you guys, but it's here. It's lovemoney.com if you want to pull it up. And it just talks about a list of the TV's top talent, right? TV's top talent. I think most of this is network TV, right? We're not talking about the streaming platforms, not like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all that. They have their own budgets. I think they might pull some of that in here. I'm not sure. But per episode, and we're talking about an actor, Kevin Costner, right now, per episode is getting $1 million per episode for his TV show, Yellowstone. $1 million per episode. Kevin Costner. I like Kevin Costner. He's great. I've never watched Yellowstone. I'm not sure what network it's on, what platform it's on. I don't know. But I see commercials for it all the time, so it must be good. $1 million per episode. I don't know how many episodes they run per season. I don't know. Let's say it's 22, 24 episodes. That's $24 million a year that goes to Kevin Costner. We haven't talked about any production costs. We haven't talked about anything else, just for him. I'm pretty sure he's not the whole show. There's other people in that show. There are other actors. Now, it's taken Kevin Costner a lifetime to get to the point where he can ask for that kind of money and get it. And like I said, he's an amazing actor, but $1 million an episode, $1 million bucks. Jared Leto. I don't know who this is. Apparently there's a TV show on Apple Plus. So yeah, they do. That looks like they're covering all of the streaming platforms and all the platforms, where he plays the role of the WeWork creator. And I've never seen this show. Don't even know what this show is called. I have no idea what this show is about. I think it's called We Crash. That's the name of the show. Never seen it. I've never even seen a trailer for this thing, right? $750,000 an episode. $750,000 per episode. Again, they're doing at least 11, 12 episode seasons over there on Apple Plus. You know what I mean? I don't think they're doing like I forget how many seasons the network used to do. I want to say it was 24 or something like that. 24 episodes per season. I think, the streaming platforms, they can do 8 episodes, 11 episodes. They do whatever they want. They can do, like a season and a half in 1 year. They do all kind of stuff, but still Every time he shows up for work for that one episode, $750,000. And like I said, Mr. Beast and those guys, bro, he's doing great. He's making money, but he ain't making that kind of bread. You know what I mean? So just to give you an idea, Anne Hathaway, she's getting $750,000 per episode, or $6 million a year $6 million per season, however many episodes that is. And that's for the same show. That's WeWork. So she's getting $750,000 an episode, and the name of that show is We Crashed. She's getting $750 per episode, $6 million per season, and so is that the lead actor, this Jared Leto guy. That's $12 million between two actors, bro. You still gotta you got cameras, you got producers, executive producers. You know what I mean? You got the people who built the sets. You still have what they call below the line expenses. The above the line is, I think, is, like the executive producers, the actors, the big, that's all above the line. But below the line, they're you looking at all of the people who make that happen, the editors, you know what I mean, the camera people, the gaffers and all that kind of stuff. So Hollywood has a lot of money. Seth Rogen, $750,000 per episode. I didn't even know he was on TV. Again, on Apple Plus. You know what I mean? Platonic is the name of his show. That's crazy. That is crazy. So he's getting like $7.5 million per episode. You know what I mean? Rose Byrne, I don't even know who she is, Australian actress. She's getting $750,000 per episode. Brie Larson's getting $750,000 per episode. Looks like that's the going rate right now. And all this stuff is negotiated, y'all. I mean, a lot of this money goes to their agents and to their managers and stuff like that. So it's not like the actor is going to get all that bread, and there's taxes that have to be paid. Lessons in Chemistry. I didn't know that she was on the show. It goes on and on and on. Elizabeth Olsen, man, $875,000. Sylvester Stallone, $1 million per episode. You know what I mean? It's just Paul Rudd, $1 million per episode. Will Ferrell, $1 million per episode. Helen Mirren was one of my favorite actresses in the world. She's amazing. $1 million per episode. Harrison Ford, $1 million per episode. I mean, this is why Hollywood is undefeated. They got that kind of bread, bro. They got that kind of money, like see you later money. This is going to change you, right? You got to be prepared for it.
That's the currency of Hollywood.
But it's also the motivation. Like, what is the motivation to do it in the first place? A lot of the people that are in Hollywood, their motivation is purely for attention. Their motivation is purely to become successful and famous. Whereas his motivation seems to be to have fun and to do things with the money that is actually altruistic and good and beneficial and, charitable. He's a really good guy. Like, that's one of the appeals. And also,
yeah, Mr. Beast, man, he helped cure people's blindness, bro, and people, and some folks hating for it. I just saw a thumbnail that he bought 20,000 pairs of shoes, I think, for some people in Africa. He's doing stuff because he likes to do it. He's getting he's not doing it just to make money. He's making money, and he's just going out doing what he loves to do. And I get that. Like, I'm sitting here right now, I'm talking about Hollywood and whatever. Probably won't get a whole lot of views, but this is, it's like something I want to talk about. It's kind of cool. It's gonna be fun. At least that's how I see it. Now you have, there's people out there who do this just for the bread, and they'll do anything. If you're all about the money for this, you'll do anything because you're not doing what you like. You're doing what you want to do. And one of the things you're not doing what you want to do. You're doing what you think needs to be done to make money. And I'm telling you now, it's hard to be successful like that. Whereas Mr. Beast is doing what he loves. Like, he loves doing this stuff, man. He loves giving back. That's a lot of bread. Let's continue.
So there's no one like filtering him. That's who he is. That's that guy. I mean, he's very smart and very ambitious, but he's also not really money hungry, and he dumps most of the money back into the production of his show.
He's legit. I mean, I have a lot of people you meet behind the scenes, and they're different. It's like the same guy you meet, and that's always a huge letdown. I've had so many examples of that, but he was one of the first, not first, but there are a lot of guys, but the biggest stars, I guess, are the ones that are most like you. You're like, you're a bit different. But he was like, when I met him, we talked a bit, and it's just like, dude, this guy's legit. Like he's the real deal.
Yeah, that is who you get. The guy.
And I believe that someone like Mr. Beast just having a good old time doing what he wants to do, you know. And again, we're talking about YouTubers, right? Mr. Beast can pretty much go anywhere he wants on planet Earth, and people still won't recognize him. But Brad Pitt can't do that. George Clooney can't do that. Joe Rogan can't do that. You know what I mean? It's a different level. So when you're looking at YouTube and all the success you can have on YouTube, you know, Melanie King, really successful YouTuber, right? She was in the family space for a long time, did really well. Now she's over like in the relationship space right now. You know what I mean? She kind of rubs up against the manosphere and all that. She's, you know, she has a lot of red pill talking points, right? She was close to Kevin Samuels. She's doing great, but I tell you what, the overwhelming majority of Americans and people in the world, they don't know who she is. If she walked up, you wouldn't know that. Oh, you know, it's Melanie King. You know what I mean? There's a hierarchy to this stuff, like it's a totem pole. You know what I mean? And YouTubers, very, very at the bottom of the totem pole, and most YouTubers will never make it to the totem pole. For real, you know, don't believe me. Ask Myron and Fresh when they went to LA, they got a taste of that. It's like, oh man, and when they came back from LA on that one trip, it was over a year and a half ago. Myron was saying it. Myron and Fresh are both saying, like, bro, don't let this YouTube stuff go to your head, man. Don't nobody know who we are. You know, I mean, it's a whole nother level of fame out there. Don't get it twisted. There's people in Hollywood who watch YouTube or are big fans of, you know, they have their favorite YouTubers, whoever they may be. But it's nothing compared to the Hollywood listers, you know what I mean? The A, B, and C listers, you know what I mean? And then the rappers and the athletes and all that, the authors, the political officials, you know what I mean? The political guys, you know what I mean? Nothing like that. The rock and rollers still up there. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Brother Vikings in the house supporting from the clouds. Appreciate that, bro. Always a pleasure. And like I said, man, these are the shows. I like doing these shows, man. I'm just, you know, I like, you know, just kind of running some stuff. I dropped the link if anybody wants to pop in, you know, but I'm going to run this. Yeah, it's just fun. And like I said, I love y'all for coming through and supporting.
When he's doing those videos with his friends, joking around and making them do stunts and pranks and all the different little games that he comes up with for where people can win money. That's really who he is.
YouTube's lucky because it could be anybody. Like they don't select who is like on top, and they're fortunate because it could just be like some super narcissistic like monster.
I don't know if it would work. Because
you're saying it's selected for like
because a super narcissistic monster, I don't think would create something that's relatable.
That's a good point. Yeah, could they get some? You had there were.
And that's a good point too. Like, and you think about YouTube, and it's like, well, you know, YouTube is great. You're not chosen on YouTube, this, that, and the third. You kind of are. I mean, with the algorithm and the way that YouTube is moving, the way corporate is moving with YouTube, it is definitely changing, and it's a shift towards Hollywood. And what I mean by that, it's a shift towards the Hollywood mentality where you are being chosen. You know, it just, for those who've been on YouTube since the beginning, before you can put up anything, almost no restrictions. I mean, you know, you couldn't put up anything pornographic and all that kind of stuff. You know, and I didn't watch YouTube back then, but people were on YouTube and it was free discourse, a free back and forth. You can have your conversations. You had this part of the internet, YouTube, like Manosphere. You know, you had the blue pill stuff. You had the geek stuff. You know what I mean? You had the cosplay over here. You had the business stuff. You had the fitness stuff. It was just, and you know, whatever you were into, it got pushed according to who was following you and who enjoyed your content. Not anymore. Not anymore. These algorithms run a certain way. There's certain things that YouTube wants. And if you don't give it to them, it's going to be hard to find your content. I mean, it just is what it is. It's a business model. And I get it. They want to get more advertising dollars. YouTube gives away 50% of the advertising dollars. You know what I mean? They take, you know what I mean? They're taking, you know, 50% roughly. You know, it's a 55-45 split, right? And they're taking roughly, you know, your donations from your supporters. They have to. They got to run a business. I get that. You know what I mean? So YouTube wants to make more money, which is pushing them closer and closer to Hollywood. And eventually Hollywood is going to suck them up. It's just gonna engulf YouTube. They just, any studio could probably buy YouTube if they wanted to and do exactly what they want. So we were kind of getting close to that. So when they're they're saying, oh, YouTube, they're not picking anybody. They're starting to.
There was this huge YouTube channel. I think they still might be the big, like T Series or something. There's some random corporation. I think there are ways to growth hack it, maybe, but you're right. You wouldn't create such a brand.
Right.
You couldn't fake it forever.
You couldn't fake authenticity. I don't think you can. I think after a while it gets exposed and people realize you're full of shit.
Yeah, the longer you talk, especially on the longer if you're in little sound bites, you can pull it off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the longer you talk, the more it gets shown.
Unless you just have amazing stamina for bullshit.
Have you ever talked to somebody like that? I'm sure, right? Like statistically, there has to be someone who came on the show and you're like, oh my gosh, like after like an hour?
That they're full of shit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, and you look at someone like Rogan, I've known Joe Rogan a long time. I don't know him personally. Like if I say that I know someone in the Hollywood game and I say I really know this person, that means I got their number in my pocket. To me, that's like I know them. I have a relationship with them. I communicate with them in real life. I know who Rogan is. I've had a lot of conversations with Rogan. I've been around Joe when he's holding court, behind the Comedy Store or whatever, right? Real cool cat. He has talked to millions of people. So if anyone's going to be able to sniff out some BS, it's going to be Joe Rogan. And he can talk about anything. And if he doesn't know, he's asking you and he wants to learn. That's why this dude is great at what he does. He's an amazing comedian, amazing actor. He walked away from the acting stuff. He made his money. He was like, cool. And don't get it twisted. Joe got bread. You know what I mean? He be pulling up the Comedy Store in some of the most exotic cars, like muscle cars. You know what I mean? Like if he had like a old school Porsche, he would have cars I've never, ever heard of, like with these big engines in them. Like, yo, Rogan's here. You know what I mean? Like, this was a cool guy. This was long before, the Joe Rogan Experience took off and all that. He was just doing comedy. He was touring. He was still doing TV a little bit. That show when they was making you eat like all the kind of crazy insects and stuff like that back then. You know what I mean? Rogan just cool people, man. Cool people. And he's been a fighter his whole life. This is one of the coolest dudes I've ever interacted with. You know what I mean? Hollywood didn't destroy him. He saw it. He peeped it right away. Like, all right. And he played the game. But he's not tension hungry and he's a comedian. He was a fighter first, then he got into comedy, and then he got into the Hollywood thing. And, he makes some money. So that guy's going to be able to sniff out some BS in an instant. I've been in Hollywood. I'll talk to someone for 10, 15 minutes, and I realize what's up with them. Like, oh, man, these dudes ain't nothing. And again, that's why I wanted to meet Myron the Fresh. I mean, if I'm going to support these dudes' platform, I got to meet these cats. I went down there, and within 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, I see it. This is who they are. This is who they are. I'm cool with it. I can support these guys. I can rock with these guys. The good, the bad, the ugly, I can rock with them. Because at their core, they're good men. You know what I mean? They are good men. So someone like a Rogan or someone like me, we're going to see that instantly, bro. We're going to see that instantly. But let's continue.
Sure. There's quite a few people that I talk to that are full of shit. And it's unfortunate. Like sometimes people like, I've had people come on where I don't realize until like an hour and a half, 2 hours in. And then I start asking them certain questions, and then you realize like there's something fucking funny about your answers here. Like this is not. And then we'll research them after the show. Like, oh, good Lord, it's an issue. It's like, and there's also people that just, whatever their motivations are, they're not good. Like what is their motivation to do a show in the first place? Like, is their motivation just to try to make the most amount of money, or are they trying to do a good show? Like, if you're trying,
and this right here is the key. This is why Rogan is successful in what he's doing with this podcast. Is why he's successful on stage. As comedians, most of the comedians that I respect and I think are really funny on stage are trying to be the best comedians they can be. They're not in it for the money. Right? There is no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for most comedians. You know that going in. The pot of gold is to get that standing ovation. The first standing ovation. The pot of gold is when people start to recognize you, you know what I mean? When you walking up like, hey, aren't you that one guy? And they start telling you your own bit. Oh, you did that bit about the hurricanes. Or like, oh man, you did that bit you know what I mean, about the sick mouse or whatever. You did that bit about the pine cone. You did that bit about the gazelles. That's when you're like, oh wow, you know what I mean? You've touched people, you know what I mean? Pause, in a good way. In a good way. You've helped people laugh and feel better. And they remember you for it, right? That's most of the comics I know, the good ones, the ones I respect. That's what they were doing. That's why they're in the business, the comedy business. But then there are guys out there, guys and girls out there who are like, well, this will help me get an audition. This will help me with my acting career. It's a whole bunch of them. It's a whole bunch of them taking stand-up comedy classes. Like, don't take a stand-up comedy class. The class is this the school of hard knocks, man. Get on stage, get in front of some people, make them laugh, work out your material, become accepted amongst other comedians. That's the school. It's the school of hard knocks. But these people, they're looking for cheat codes. Like all folks are looking for cheat codes, and you know, all the time. So they go in, right? Their agent said to go be a stand-up comedian, and they go out here and they don't respect the art. They're going out here trying to get in front of people. They're trying to get in front of studio folks and stuff like that. And for some of them, it works. But they don't care about comedy. They don't care about making you laugh. They only care about making money. You can only go so far with that. You know what I mean? There's a guy in particular I could think of. I'm not going to say his name. You know what I mean? But this is a guy, man, never. There's an unspoken word in the comedy world, especially in LA. Like if you're a promoter, slant comedian, and you have a room and another comedian does your room, and then, you know, you normally would share the stage time. Like, all right, you did my show, I'll do your show kind of thing. But you have people out there who didn't do that because they didn't respect the craft. And all they wanted to do was take advantage of you in your room. And they want to get up on stage. And then when you find out, like, oh, you know what I mean? I have people like, I didn't know who they were. And a lot of people would try to take advantage of that. Like, I don't know who this person is. I don't really care. You're a comedian, I'm gonna give you a shot. You know what I mean? I don't need to hear a tape. I don't need people to vouch for you. I'm gonna put you on. I'll find out for myself when I put you on the show. I'll put you up there, and it's like, all right, you suck, or you're good, or you're a good middle, or you working on it. But I don't really care. But then to find out you had a room and you won't book me. Oh, okay. That's how we playing it. You know what I mean? That's how we playing this. And again, that's when I found out, like, okay, I see this game. Not everyone is in it the way I'm in it. So if you're doing it for the money, you're only going to get so good. And that's what Rogan is talking about right now. And the same thing goes for, you know, this platform, but for what we're doing here right now. You know what I mean? If I was doing this for the money, if all I wanted to do was, man, I got to grow. I want to be able to be monetized. I want to be able to get fans, you know, support. If I wanted to just get sheer numbers, all I would talk about is relationship stuff. I would talk about relationship. I would pick a side and go hard. That's it. That's all I would do. Right. And I would get the views. I would get that. I would set it up just like Fresh and Fit. I would do what they're doing and bring women in and have these discussions and look for a viral moment. I would do all that. If all I wanted to do was make money, that's what I would do. But I like to have just conversations and you know, see where people are thinking, man. I really want to know what's going on. What's on your mind? You know what I mean? Everything ain't about relationships. And you know, y'all know my number one motto: all money ain't good money. Shout out to my dude Stone. To me, it's not about the money. Yeah, I want to talk about everything. You know what I mean? I want to talk about sci-fi stuff, man. Can't wait to start talking about Picard. I think the latest season is over, so I can binge watch the whole thing. I'm gonna be talking about Picard. Can't wait to do it. I'm gonna be talking about cartoons from the 80s here pretty soon. Next week, y'all. I stumbled onto somebody's YouTube channel when they like rated the top 50 cartoons from the 80s. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I love talking about all this kind of stuff. Yeah, we're gonna talk about relationships as well, because you know I'm passionate about that. I want Americans to be happy, and a lot of us aren't happy in the dating world. So that's a good topic. You know what I mean? I want to talk about weapons. I want to talk about, you know, the Second Amendment stuff. I'm gonna talk about a whole bunch of things. But I'm not motivated by one just thing like I just need to get my views up. Views. I mean, you could buy views, right? You could buy subscribers. I ain't trying to do all that. I want to have good shows and good conversations and be able to sit back and say, hey, I made some good friends with this platform, and we were able to talk about some stuff, and I learned some things and they learned some things, and we're better people for it. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? I write like Viking Paradigm, good people. You know what I mean? Can't wait to meet him in person, man. But we've talked. You know what I mean? Brother Michael's always on here. Sister Candace, wonderful 34. You know what I mean? Miss AKA Lady. You know what I mean? Miss Globe Girl, Suzette Speaks. I mean, it's just so many people I've met, and I'm like, I'm a better person for it. You know what I mean? Man, I could be sitting here for 15, 20 minutes if I named everybody. You know what I mean? Brother Doug, Brother Jason, Brother Taruse, Black Man Unfiltered. You know what I mean? Brother Mandrell, Brother Marcus. I mean, just so many. You know what I mean? So many. Cody, Brother Cody is king. You know, I mean, it's just so many people. I'm like, man, I'm fortunate to have this, man. But it ain't all about the bread. And that's what Rogan is talking about. So let's continue. It's like I'm running on at the mouth.
To do a good show and you keep working at it, it'll get better. Go watch my early shows. They fucking suck. You know, like, you get better if you're actually just trying to do it and get better at it. But if your motivation is just to make money, like, somewhere along the line, usually you slide off.
I think most people who want to make money just go.
And that's that stand-up mentality, man. Keep doing it, you'll get better. Look, I just talked Brother Doug up. There you go, right there. What's good, fam? What's good, man? Hey, we're gonna be talking some more politics, man. I did a short on DeSantis. The left is coming after DeSantis, bro. Let me know if you saw that short. I was thinking of you when I was doing it. I was like, I wonder what Brother Doug thinks about this. But it's like the left is coming after DeSantis. I just did the thumbnail for it, so I did like a little wanted poster with DeSantis' face on it, and the Young Turks came after him, bro. Let me know what you think about that.
Going to finance, like.
Yeah, but they also want attention. You know, they want money and they want attention. And then once you've gotten the attention, that's the thing about fame, right? Like, if you go to a store and there's a security at that store, you don't think this poor fuck he's a security guard at a store. You just think he's a guy. Like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? You don't treat him badly. But if you go there and it's Will Smith has lost all his money. Now he's a security guard at the store. Look at this fucking loser. Let's go visit Will Smith. And you laugh at him. How much you make here, Will?
And he ain't lying about that. Remember when Gary Coleman made the news? He's working as remember when Gary Coleman was working as a security guy? It's probably what Rogan was thinking about when he said that. And it's just one of those things, man. And they're about to talk about fame being a drug and child actors. We're going to talk about that in a second. But what happened with Gary Coleman was tragic, bro. All that money making, doing different strokes and everything. He was a big time star as a kid. And his own family, man. Apparently his own family took all his bread, man. His own family robbed him. His own family. Now he has to be like, a mere mortal like the rest of us, and people making fun of him. This short man, you know what I mean? He, I don't know if it was dwarfism or he was just real short, but like Gary Coleman, man, he didn't have any money, bro. He had to go out there and work, and he's working as a security guard, man. And people are just giving him a hard time. That's what Hollywood would do to you, bro. The highest highs and the lowest lows. You know what I mean? It is crazy. I talked to everybody up. Miss AKA ladies in the house, and Brother Casual Jones in the house. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? Just over here talking about Hollywood, man, and why it's undefeated. Brother Doug said he hasn't seen that yet, man. Yeah, check that out, bro. Like that little short. I just did it today about DeSantis, man. I'm curious to get your take on that. And but yeah, man. When you look at, again, Hollywood has so much money, bro. So much money that they could just throw so much money around. It's just scary. Like the typical range of a production budget for a high-end cable and streaming drama is between $5 and $7 million an hour. An hour in Hollywood. That is a lot of money. Again, I don't know how much Mr. Beast is doing, but he ain't doing between $7 and $5 million an hour. And it's like those single cam half-hour broadcasts, those little half-hour shows, little, funny shows or whatever. $1.5 million to $3 million an hour, because you have so many people involved. We shot a short, and this short, I'm gonna see if I can find it, because we were hired to actually produce this thing. This was in Hollywood, and with Desktop Productions, like the production team company we put together. Shout out to my team. You know what I mean? I see y'all out there, bro. But we put together this thing, and we were able to basically, for this short film, we needed to recreate a sitcom, how you like film a sitcom. So we had to go and actually get the real cameras and everything. And we basically, for the first half of this film, we were filming a sitcom. We hired actors, and like the way the film works is, it just shows you how Hollywood takes a great idea and they turn it into crap. When it gets to the studio and all this other kind of stuff. So, we had to make the sitcom first, and then, the second half of the movie, someone else was hired to produce that. And it kind of got into the meat and potatoes of it, but it took us 12 hours to shoot. I think it was about 12 to 14 hours to shoot. I was so proud of that work. If you go to my Instagram, I think I have pictures of it up on my Instagram. We did a great job, bro. We called in a lot of favors, man. Everyone had a great time. Was so proud of that day. And we've done some other things, but that was like the cherry on the top right there, bro. We spent so much money on that. For us as a small budget, like we're looking at the money and it's like, wow, if we had to spend the real cost, oh my God, it would have been like $1 million, maybe $300,000 or $400,000 an hour if we paid the real cost on everything. So like Hollywood, you will never be able to take over Hollywood because it costs so much to do it. It costs so much to do it. Brother Dinosaurs in the house. What's good, fam? RIP indeed to Gary Coleman. Yeah, that I feel bad for him. But the other part of this is, it's not Hollywood's fault. This is just what it morphed into this. It's not what they set out to do. It's not like, the Illuminati has set this thing up so they can suck your soul out. No, it just turns into it. And a lot of it is you dream chasing. And the big thing about this, really, the big thing is fame. Fame is the absolute worst drug out there, bro. The absolute worst drug. You have no idea what people will do for fame. Well, I guess you kind of do. You look at OnlyFans, you look at, adult content. Fame, bro, ain't no joke. And the people in Hollywood, man, that's the number one draw, man. They'll do work for free so long as it makes them famous. And there's a lot of people out there who understand that. So fame is, oh my God, you have to be prepared for that. My buddy Ty Barnett talks about it. I think one of the first interviews he did on this platform, we talked about that because I was with Ty when all his hard work paid off, and then boom, he was like doing American. Which one? Damn, which one was it? It's the American Idol for comedians. Last Comic Standing. He did Last Comic Standing. And I was right there with him. Mind y'all, I'm air traffic controller. So I got my career going on. Daytime, I'm keeping airplanes from flying into each other. At nighttime, I'm a comedian. So I'm out there. I'm with Ty going to the he's at the filmings and all that. I didn't want to be inside. I could have. Ty would have like, yeah, man, come on. We got you a seat. I just didn't want to be around that. But, I'll be riding with Ty. Like, I'm about to go do this. Like, bet, hit me when you're done. He'll hit me up. We'll, go kick it, grab some drinks, maybe go do some comedy. So I was kind of right there, bro. And I watched how it changed. Like I watched the money change. Like, we went from just being two regular comics in LA. Ty was like a veteran comic, and I was like an up and coming new guy learning the ropes. Went from just us doing our thing to red carpet events, invitations to the Playboy Mansion, invitations to parties in the hills. You know what I mean? Like going places and people see Ty as like, oh, bring you in through the kitchen, set up tables and stuff for you. Like, yo, this is crazy. And I asked Ty too, like when years and years after all that, bro, like, yo, Ty, man, what was the worst part, about all this? And he was like, it wasn't the money, it was the fame. You know what I mean? Like when people stop coming to see you, when they stop hollering your name, when when you're, what I mean? Like when people don't want you to come perform, he was like, that was the absolute worst part. I'm like, word? He was like, bro, that was the hardest thing to deal with. But he stuck to it. And like I said, he's out there now, man. He's an accomplished actor, slant comedian, doing his thing, making moves, and he keeps it mellow, even keel. Doesn't matter. Yeah, man, I got picked up for this thing, and then boom, you're like, oh man, that's huge, bro. That's like the #1 show, and da. Man, it is what it is, bro. He keeps it right here, right? You must learn that. Otherwise, that fame, man, it's like that story. Devil Went Down to Georgia, man. Like Charlie Daniels and his band. That song, Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's like the devil's like, yeah, bro, I'll make a deal. I'm low on souls. I'm in a bind. And I'm way behind. I'm willing to make a deal. That's what it's like, man. And that fame, bro. I'm telling you, that is like the worst drug. But let me pull this up, man. We're gonna watch this part about fame, and then we'll probably wrap this up here pretty quick. This is it's about 5 minutes, so this won't be as long. But I'm here to tell you, bro. Let's check this out.
Thing. The other thing is like, what is life then? Is life a performance?
People are going to let that stop them, though.
But are you capable of being so in the moment that you are just yourself, no matter what? Even if cameras are on, you would behave and exist the same way you would if there's no cameras on.
No, I don't think most people would be capable of that. I mean, I enjoy keeping my private life private, my public life public. I think that's pretty normal. And I think things get weird when everything's online. Your family's online. I've seen people who they put out everything. They put out their kids, they
do it for the clicks.
That's what's weird.
And you're also not asking the kids. Your kids are going to get famous when they're babies, and then they don't have any say in it. And then as they get older, people know them. And then you run into all sorts of security issues because of that too. And
yeah,
it's just not wise. And there's a lot of people that don't think, they just do it. And
it's their it's also like,
yeah, they don't think, they just do it. It's their own kids. And then a lot of people are living vicariously through their children. Y'all have heard the stories, and not just in the TV business, the movie business, but in the rap game, in the R&B game, in the music business. This goes on. I mean, look at what happened with Aaliyah. Rest in peace, Aaliyah. Amazing. Like, she was doing really well. But y'all know the story. Y'all know she was married when she was a minor. Y'all know what was going on. I was her family behind that. You know what I mean? Like, people were doing things for money, for fame. And this, hey man, like, again, trust me, I ain't throwing no rocks, bro. I know we all live in glass houses, man. Far be it for me to pick up a rock and throw it, but I'm just saying, there's people that do this sort of stuff, bro. Fame, man.
like an opportunity, like kids channels were big on YouTube, where they were running these family channels is what they called them, because you'd watch the family together.
Yeah.
And then you'd get like your kids would like to watch their kids, and people grew multi-million-dollar brands on the back of that. And it's like, by that point, it's too late to stop, because you got a mortgage, you're depending on that money coming in, and say, you can't stop. Your kid better get on camera. I just want to know, like, do you tell your kid, like, get on your mark? Like, hey, can you react to that again? Can you help me with this thumbnail? Like, that's crazy.
And then
but that's what's going on. It becomes a family business, and the child is the principal. And how does that work as a parent when your kids start demanding stuff? You know what I mean? And it's, again, the kids don't understand it. Hopefully they enjoy it and they're having fun. But what they get to the point, like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Your kid might wake up on Thursday like, I want to play football. And then by Tuesday, like, nah, I think I want to play the trombone. So what are we going to do? Like, no, we got this show. We're making this money. You got to do it. Now it's work. And yeah, you can turn that into a lesson, but why are you putting all the pressure on this kid? Man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And people are doing this, Miss AKA lady. Fame is so much different and highly temperamental nowadays. A tweet can ruin your entire career. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it is so wishy-washy, man. It's temperamental. Like, people are all over the place. Yeah, you know what I mean. But again, like, why send a tweet? You know what it could do for you. People are thinking that, I'm gonna go viral. If I had a quarter for everyone telling me they're gonna go viral, trying to make some whatever, it's like, again, you're doing it for the money. It's probably not gonna go viral. The stuff that I see to go viral is like not stuff that just kind of happens naturally and it's kind of cool. But could you imagine you putting your kid in these situations just so they can do something to go viral so you can make some money? That's terrible. But again, who am I to judge?
The kid becomes famous when they're young, they're in so much trouble. There's very few people that ever survive being famous when they're young. Very few. They all come out fucked up. It's not a normal way to develop. Fame is a drug that you have to develop a tolerance for. And if you don't develop that tolerance, you actually develop with that drug. Like instead of like experiencing adversity, instead of developing your personality, you know, like to like realize like what is wrong with the way I communicate? Why do people get mad at me? Why do people like me? Like you sort it out as a human. It's how you interact with the world. It's why kids, you know, pick on each other and they're mean to each other and they're figuring out how to communicate and be social. If you're 5 fucking years old and you're already famous, you're in deep shit. And they're all in deep shit.
He ain't lying about that, bro. If you 5 years old and you famous, man, it's gonna be rough. I mean, the only actor I can really think of, off the top of my head, would probably be Jason Bateman. I remember Jason Bateman when I was young, back in the 80s. It wasn't Family Ties, but it was another one of those type shows. I forget the name of the show. Him and his sister, Justine Bateman, they starred on the show together. It was a good show. It was pretty cool. But they were teenagers. And he seems to have, developed into a regular functioning human. I mean, yeah, he's A-lister and, he does good stuff. He's great at what he does. He's one of those actors that can he act, but it's just one of those things. Like, he seems normal, but I can think of a slew of people who just don't seem normal. And I've never bumped into him in real life, but I've never heard anything bad about him either. There's so many stories about folks, like people in Hollywood know who to stay away from. Like, yo, bro, stay away from that one. They like, oh, keep your son away from that one, or keep your daughter away from that one, or keep, keep your wife away from that one, keep your husband away. There's a whole lot of that going on out there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Jason Bateman's the only one I can think of that that guy was a child actor, and he seems to, made it. But is it he's okay because he was constantly working, and that's what helped him stay even keeled? Or, would he have gone off the deep end if Hollywood turned their back on him? I'm just wondering. It's one of those kind of things, man. It's crazy. Brother Cody's in the house. Cody just came. I was talking about you too earlier, bro. Glad you came here. It's all good. Trust me. Sometimes it's the stuff that gets you canceled that makes you viral or popular in the first place. Exactly. And people know what they're doing. Again, look at Myron, very successful law enforcement agent. He loved his job. He loved what he was doing. He was keeping the country safe. He was saving people down there in Laredo, Texas, on the border. And with what's going on recently, y'all see how dangerous it is on that border. Those people from South Carolina went over to Mexico, and we know how that went. We talked about that yesterday. You know what I mean? So Myron was down there keeping America safe. Started a podcast. First he was doing the fitness stuff, not a problem. Then he started Fresh and Fit, and they started doing this thing. And his superiors come to him, was like, either you do the podcast or you got to resign. You can't do both. And he had to make that choice. You know what I mean? Because he was going viral and doing stuff. They were like, he had to make that choice, and he chose to do the podcast, and turned out to be a good choice for him. But he had to walk away from something he loved. But then you got people out there doing it, and they don't want to leave their job per se. And then they do something and get all that attention and get fired. Didn't that happen to some woman with Google or something like that? Or she was with some corporation bragging about what she was doing, putting, at work, filming, doing shorts, and they found out about it and they fired her. I think she was a contractor for one of the big tech firms. I can't remember, but she was complaining about it. Like, well, you wanted the fame. You know what I'm saying? You wanted that attention. You got it now. I just thought that was funny. You know what I mean? Brother Private Studies in the house, man. What's good, fam? Miss AKA lady, compared to other child actors, I think Raven Simone turned out fairly okay too. Yeah, I guess. I mean, again, I haven't heard anything negative about her when I was in LA. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it looks like she's turned out fairly okay. I mean, I'm sure she got a couple scrapes along the way, but nothing over the top. I agree with you there. And salute to you, brother Primal Studies. You know what I mean? But let's continue.
met quite a few of them now. I've interviewed quite a few of them on this podcast. I've met quite a few of them in real life, and they're all fucked. Everyone who becomes famous when they're a child is fucked. I don't know. I mean,
I was going to ask, like, do we know of anybody just navigating like mega fame in general? I don't think I've seen many people do it without kind of getting eaten a little bit.
yeah, you get eaten a little bit. You need to do something to mitigate that. You need to just do something real. And if you do not do something real, then you're like the responses you get, if that's what you're living for, and if your worth and your value is based on people's attention to you and people's interaction with you, that's not good. It's very.
And he's right about that too. And in the Mano swamp, right on the red pill side of the world, a lot of dudes are like, women get so much attention, and guys just don't understand the amount of attention they get. They don't really add any value in this and that, right? But here's the thing: there is a select group of men who do understand that, and those are the people who are famous. And and there's so many levels to fame, right? Because you could be like the coolest cat in your city. That's going to give you a certain amount of fame and access, right? You're going to get into certain clubs for free. Everybody know you, shaking hands, you getting deals, right? It is what it is. You like the man, and that's going to help you. Other people see you as such, and whatever. Like that's like the lowest level. You could be that high school starting quarterback who's like the All-American and all that, right? Won a couple state titles. Then you go to college, and maybe you don't maybe you don't do as well in college. You don't make it to the next level, and all that stuff falls off. All of it falls off. So that's like the equivalent to hitting the wall is a beautiful young woman or a dude. Like you can hit the wall, and if you're not ready for it, you wind up living in the basement. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. That's that. And they always want that fame, and they sometimes they turn into bad people in the sense that they're just so used to everyone giving them stuff. What do you mean I got to pay? Well, what do you mean I can't get in? What do you mean I got to wait in line? That happens. It's just Hollywood is just a much higher level. Like I said, it's crazy. Like you can, I've seen, there was a young woman who was trying to get into the Comedy Store one night. This was years and years ago. And she was on when the reality shows were brand new. She was on one of those top model reality shows, right? So she would be equivalent to an Instagram model today, right? Only she wasn't getting paid jack. Like she wasn't that attractive. And she was trying to get into the Comedy Store. And back then, the Comedy Store was like Fight Club, bro. It was grimy, grungy, but they had some good shows, and it was run by comics. So comics would actually be hired by the Comedy Store. So the people running the door, bartenders, servers, all that were comics. She's trying to get in, basically using clout from this TV show with Tyra Banks. She's like, well, I'm on this show with Tyra Banks, da-da-da. Dude's like, well, I don't know you. You ain't getting in. This is a comic. This is a comic who has like the worst life. He doesn't care, man. He's living that life as a starving artist. You know what I mean? And she kept saying Tyra Banks' name. And he was like, well, go get Tyra Banks. If you come up here, well, you can come in, you and Tyra Banks. But I don't know what you're talking about. And that young lady walked off so mad. And she really wasn't that attractive. And it was her attitude that kept her out. If she just came in there normal, just being cute, batting her eyes, I knew the guy, he would have let her in. He would have let her in. It wouldn't have been a problem. He would have walked her to a seat. Here you go. But now she came in there like, I'm a star. Like, baby, you are on a reality TV show that no one's ever heard of. And that's what's going on with this YouTube stuff, yo. I'm Instagram, a Snapchat. I'm an Instagram model. Like, baby, you're nothing. But I just thought that was funny. Let's continue.
Bad. And that's why, I mean, it also like how many of them are narcissists to begin with, and how much of that narcissistic tendency gets fed by being famous.
It's just like I think with my phone, I've sort of given myself some like low grade ADHD. I think too much of the like attention online makes you into a narcissist, even if you weren't one original, or
Right.
it has the potential to do so if you don't.
And it's funny because he's not just talking about being on the phone. He's talking about the attention you get from being on that phone. Like if Myron talks about that when he did that experiment. He set up a Tinder, I think it was an experiment, one of the dating sites. He used his girlfriend's at the time's picture and set up a profile and bought all or whatever and turned the phone off. And he woke up the next morning, he turned the phone on, and he was amazed at all of the notifications and all of the messages that were sent because he wanted to see what it was like dating online as an attractive woman versus dating online as an attractive man. We all know that story. But he was like, yo, when he opened it up and it was like ding, 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 ding. He was like, yo, he was like feeling all good. And he's like, that's when it hit him. And he talks about this on the Fresh and Fit platform all the time. He was like, that's when it hit him. He was like, if this was my life every single day, if I'm getting this kind of attention every single day, I'm going to be a horrible person. And I think that's what CoffeeZilla is kind of making reference to. He's like, people are hitting him up. Millions and millions of people hitting him up on all these different platforms. It's got to go to your head to a certain extent.
Actively mitigate it. One of the strangest things is like when you get hot online, everybody wants to be your friend. All of a sudden, these people come out from the woodwork, and all of a sudden, everyone wants to be your friend. And then when you're not hot again, now it's like you don't exist. And that's a bad way to experience life, that your whole identity and your whole friendship base and everything's wrapped up with how you're doing online. And like, I know for me, at least, I try to just segment my life to where the online thing is online and all my real friends are just in my city, just like kind of regular people, have different jobs. I think it's kind of important to detach yourself so that when things aren't going well, it's fine. When things are going well, it's fine. There's like a stabilizing thing.
And that's what you need to do. And even someone like CoffeeZilla, man, if he was standing next to me somewhere, bro, if I were in DC or New York or Atlanta or something like that, and CoffeeZilla was standing next to me, I wouldn't know who he was. I really wouldn't even recognize his voice because I know who he is, and I've seen a good number of his videos, maybe half a dozen or so. But I wouldn't, know who he is. You know what I mean? And even he's like, yo, I got to prepare myself. He's fighting, you know what I mean? Because he understands the whole fame thing. It's like, this is crazy. And I get where he's coming from. It's the weirdest thing to walk down the street and have somebody walk up to you like they know you. It's crazy, yo. I've been places where I'm just kind of hanging out. I was in a documentary film once, and this was in the aviation world, a very, very popular film within the aviation world to this day. And I was at an aviation event somewhere. I can't remember where I was. At some airport, at some event, something. And I'm just kind of doing my thing, chilling. And I could see out the corner of my eye was some dude who was kind of shadowing me, right? If I would move over here a few feet, dude would kind of come a few feet. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, in my mind, I'm thinking like, what's going on? Like, yo, who is this dude? Like, what did I do to this cat? Like, he was too young to have been from my other world. So I'm like, man, did I do something to this dude's people? And it just turns out he finally came up to me, he like worked up the courage, and he came over to me. He was like, excuse me, are you? And I'm like, yeah. It was like, you were in? I'm like, yes. And like shook my hand and hung out. And you could see he was just eyes lit up. He was just, I can't believe you're here, man. Like, calling his friends over, like, can you autograph this for me? Sure. You know what I mean? Who am I? I'm just an air traffic controller, man. I ain't nobody. But this guy was like happy, and it was a crazy moment, yo. And again, this was before social media, so it wasn't like, yo, here's my Instagram or whatever. That was before that. Man, you gotta prepare yourself for that. I got that ever like, oh, I'm walking around with a big head. No, not even. You know what I mean? But I know people who probably would. The same thing has happened to me, when I was really cranking in the comedy circuit out there in LA. People come up to me walking down Sunset or whatever, or I'll be in the club somewhere in the back chilling. They'll like walk up to me and shake my hand like, yo, I saw you at so-and-so in San Diego, man. Yo, you funny, bro. I'm like, oh, that's what's up, man. Like, I'm about to perform here. Oh, for real? You know what I mean? So, and we've done that. Like, I've done that. That's what I've changed. Like, when I see somebody I recognize from wherever, man, I'll leave them alone, man. I might come over and say, hey, man, I appreciate your work. I'm a fan of your work or whatever. And I'll keep it moving or buy them a drink or something like that. And the drinks and the bottles and the admission to the clubs and, getting invited to the cool stuff, bro, like that'll go to your head so fast, man. So it's one of those things that you got to be prepared for. And CoffeeZilla was trying to, yeah, man, I got to keep my real friends around me. I say that on this platform all the time. If you don't know me, if unless you sat down and like, broke bread with me or had a drink with me, like we can communicate back and forth. But for me, it's like, man, I don't really know you until I see you in real life. That's just kind of how I get down. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why, because of this Hollywood stuff, man. It's like, you just don't know. Like Bob Saget, rest in peace. People love Bob Saget, man, from that TV show. You know what I mean? With the Olsen twins and all that. But in real life, Bob Saget's dark comedy, dark comedian. And I would love watching people who know him from that ABC sitcom rush into the Laugh Factory because Bob Saget is performing and just watch their face just melt away when he's telling jokes about little Filipino boys being shoved in the trunk or something like that, bro. Man, look, you just watch these people. Oh my God, who is this man? Bob Saget's material, dark. It's funny. You know, he's funny. And then sit back and just watch the audience was just that. Oh man, I loved it. I loved it because people thought they knew the man and they had no idea who he was. You know what I mean? Just the greatest. That's, again, one of those things I love about stand-up. You know what I mean? You just get it's real life. It is such real life. So yeah, Brother Cody's laugh is real talk, man. Miss AKA lady. Yeah, the Bob Saget switch up was wild, bro. It wasn't a switch up, it's who he was. He was a paid actor. And actors can give you whatever you want. That's what they do. They act. You know what I mean? George Clooney is an amazing man, stand-up guy. You know, on and off camera. I could spend a lot, got the lucky enough to hang out with them dudes for hours, man, just kicking it. Cool cat. You know what I mean? But you have people on TV, and I'm not going to name names, but you have people on TV you think are cool until you meet them. You know what I mean? I'll name one. Andy Dick, the weirdest human being I've ever seen in my life. Weird. One of those guys, like, how did he make it? But again, Hollywood gets to choose who they want to choose. And they made him a multimillionaire. He lost all the money, but they made him famous. I mean, weird. That dude is, I don't care how you think he is in real life. He's way worse. He's way worse. Yeah, he was a monster. You know what I mean? And Brother Cody's like, yeah, not surprising. Yeah, bro, I'm here to tell you, man, like Hollywood is just such a different place, man. And Hollywood is undefeated. You will never be able to knock them off that hill. They got it on lock, bro. And I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before they take over YouTube. Maybe the process has already begun. I don't really think it's begun yet. YouTube is doing good, but YouTube they're not making the kind of money to get Hollywood's attention quite yet. I mean, with all the money being made and all the millionaires who are being made, from on this platform, they still haven't gotten to the point where Hollywood's even looking at them. But the minute they do, and Hollywood takes a good look at them, it's a wrap, man. Some studios are going to buy them up. Period. You know what I mean? Paramount, Sony, MGM, somebody's going to buy them up. Fox. YouTube will be gone like that. Not necessarily gone, but it'll completely transform and it'll be owned by the studios and they'll be pushing their talent. We want you to make this person viral. We want this person to have the best platform, and they'll be putting in Hollywood money to do it. I mean, just imagine, where any platform would be on YouTube if it had, a $3 million per episode budget. Or, I take that back because they're spending, millions of dollars per hour. Just imagine where the I Really Want to Know podcast would be if I had $500,000 per hour as a budget. 500,000 per hour. And I would get that for X amount of episodes. Let's say I get that for 20 episodes. Come on now, sky's the limit. I can do anything I want. Be talking to whoever I want to talk to, flying people out. It'd be crazy. And I think that's what's going to happen with YouTube. I think it's coming. You know what I mean? Brother Tommy's in the house, man. Tommy B, what's good, fam? I've heard Adam Sandler's down to earth as fuck. Hey, he probably is. I never got a chance to bump into him. I do have some friends who work with some of his people. Like, it sounds so Hollywood, don't it? Some of my people work with some of his people, but that's true. Like, I got some friends who have a production company, not like mine. They got like a real established production company, Big Schmitz Entertainment. Shout out to my dudes. And they were working with people who were working with Happy Madison, which was at the time that was Adam Sandler's thing. Was it Adam? I think it was Adam Sandler. Yeah, I think it was Adam Sandler they were working with. And again, I heard nothing bad about Adam Sandler. And the people that we were working with were real cool. You know what I mean? And I say we because I'm loosely affiliated with Big Schmitz, but they were doing all the heavy lifting. I was just in the background. I was just chilling. I was the dude holding the big radio in the back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Like, dude, I've heard nothing but good things. I haven't met him. Maybe one day I'll bump into him. I tell you what, though, if you're a basketball guy, he's a huge sports fanatic, man, from what I understand. And he did that movie on he did a show on Netflix. So really good basketball movie, man. I can't remember the name of it. Bro, it was fire. If anybody knows, let me see if I can Google real quick. But does anyone know that Adam Sandler movie? It's recent, and it had like one of the up and coming basketball players from I think the guy was from France or Italy or something like that. It was a real good movie. See if I can find that. Adam Sandler movies. Bro, it was Hustle 2022. Yo, check that out, y'all. Tommy, check that out. Hustle was an amazing movie, probably a lower budget film for Adam Sandler, but you could tell it was a passion project. He did it on his own. They distributed it through, it's on Netflix. It's a great story, man. Just a cool, basketball movie, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. They're not changing the universe with it, but man, especially if you're a basketball fan, bro, check that out, man. It's fire. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Linnell talks very highly of Adam Sandler. Yeah, man. Like Adam, he's probably a real cool dude. Hustle. Yep. See, Tommy B saw it before I actually found it. Right there, it is. It was a bunch of players in that one. It really was, and agents and stuff like that. And it just gave you a look into the business of basketball, bro. That was a really good movie. I would say the average person, especially the established people in Hollywood, there are a lot of down to earth established people in Hollywood that are not bad. I would say that the true weirdos, definitely a minority. Like the horror stories you hear, definitely a minority. You know what I mean? Like Harvey Weinstein stuff, I would say that's the minority. But you have people in the fringes who are lying, right? You think that they got pulled like that and they don't. So when that casting couch thing, normally it's people who aren't even big in the business. They're just taking advantage of a position like, well, if you want to come through my gate, this is the cost kind of thing. Weinstein that was something different. And, and again, he held up his end of the bargain. Let's put it that way. There are a lot of people out there, A-list celebrities making a whole lot of money that made that deal with Weinstein. You know what I mean? And we'll leave it there. But it is what it is. That's Hollywood. But the people that I bumped into, the executive producers, the people who are out there like really making a living, going from project to project to project, they all know each other. They're hardworking people. They're cool folks. They got families. No, they're living good. They're living good. Most of them were down to earth. There are a lot of mean people out there, of course. You're gonna have people who are focused and mean, and they made their money or whatever, and I think those people would be mean no matter what they were doing. I think if they were making donuts at the donut shop, they'll be mean. You know what I mean? If they were making coffee at the coffee shop, they'll be mean. But I've met so many cool folks, like just going to Hollywood, kicking it. Now, there are a bunch of different kinks and stuff like that going on. Sure, that's going on out there, but I would say, man, just making up numbers, I would say a good 70 to 75% of the folks out there in the business are just regular folks like you and me. Because keep in mind, they're not like LA natives. They all came there from somewhere else, from all over the world. So whoever they were, when that's who they are. Once they got there, you hear about the actors. They go out here and they make these deals, bro, and they feel bad about themselves, but they got what they were looking for. You know what I mean? Like, well, some woman, got with some guy to get a movie role, but that movie role propelled them into stardom. They're A-listers. They'll look back on that moment with regret. Guys do the same thing. It'll be some dude who hang out with some old woman to get some role. And it's a lot of the same sex going on out there too, to get a role or whatever. They do that. And, they go on to be great, but they'll look back on that moment and they're, again, they're like, oh man, I did that. No one knows but them. And it kind of messes them up. You know what I mean? And Brother Cody was like, yeah, man, I think that stuff is overblown. A lot of it is. I mean, it's sensational. You hear these stories and it's like crazy. Yeah. But, it doesn't happen every day. I mean, it just doesn't. Think of all the auditions that go on in Hollywood, in New York, in Chicago, in Miami, daily. Hundreds, if not thousands of people daily auditioning for something. And before self-tapes, a self-tape is you just film yourself. They send you the lines, you film yourself, and you send it in. Before that, you had to actually go into the office and audition. And it's still a lot of that going on. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it said. And then there are people out there who are willing to do whatever. Suzette Speaks was interviewing a woman from Miami who runs an agency. And, it's an acting slant model agency. And she said she's been on casting calls and she's had casting calls where, they'll ask the women to walk in within 5 minutes. They say, okay, are you comfortable like doing nudes and stuff like that? And the lady will be like, yeah, okay, you take your clothes off right now. And they'll just undress right there. That's how they chasing that dream. That's what they want to do for that. Like, here you go. Boom, naked. I know my body's good. Then you have other people walk away. That's men and women. Other people are like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I don't need it that bad. And they'll get on the phone with their agent. Like, why'd you send me on this? So Hollywood is one of those things. You know what I mean? Yeah, gained the world, lost your soul. Boils down to money, man. All money ain't good money. You sell yourself for that bread, go right ahead. So that's Hollywood for you, man. So, yep, that was fun. I just wanted to bring that up, man. Like those two videos with Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan's the perfect dude. I love it when he talks about Hollywood because he's telling you the truth. This is a guy who made it, but he didn't compromise himself. So Joe Rogan shows you that you can do that. The guy's from the East Coast, bro. He came out there and he did what he did and he conquered. And he didn't compromise himself at all. You know what I'm saying? Brother Time was like, they did that with my mom and she left. Yeah, and it's not personal to them, it's business. Like, we want you to become. I've been on sets where they were shooting, like topless scenes or whatever. I did a bedroom scene. I did a scene for a friend of mine, just doing like a short. It wasn't nothing, professional, but we had, real Hollywood folks shooting it. Brian Keith Etheridge was directing it. Shout out to Brian Keith Etheridge. You know what I'm saying? One of the funniest comedy. You want to talk about a guy who knows how to push buttons, bro. That dude, he is so funny. He'll make you laugh while he's destroying your religious beliefs. Anyway, Brian was directing this thing for a friend. A friend asked me, and they was doing the typical, in this short she wanted to do. Her boyfriend was like this beta kind of guy, and then he wanted to go watch. I'm tired of being around my woman. I want to go watch football with the fellas. She's like, okay, go watch football with the fellas. So like the one of the first shots was he was walking out the front door and she was saying bye. And then it pans over to the back door. And I was kind of like right there at the back door. So like, stereotypical black man comes in the back door, literally. You know what I mean? And the whole thing was like, we had to do some grown up content kind of, you know what I mean? So, and that's when that's when I learned how they actually do these, like these mating scenes. I'm trying to keep it YouTube friendly. So, I would have on shorts, but my shirt was off. And then we would have the sheets draped across us and she would have like pasties on, but her back was to me in the camera. So it looks like, you know what I mean? Like they're tricks. That's where I learned the tricks of the trade. I'm like, oh, that's how they do this. Oh, that's how they do that. Cause I didn't know how it was going to work. And like little shorty was fine. I was shocked that she asked me, like, what? Yeah, I'll do it. And so I'm thinking like, well, what's gonna happen if, you know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen if a joystick starts to get excited? There's so much going on, there's so many people around that you forget. Like there's no sexual tension. That's when I learned, like when people do these sex scenes, there's hardly any sexual tension between the two principals. because there's so much going on. There's people moving stuff around you. There's, you know, people holding a boom, you know, I mean, the actor, the director is giving you instructions, you know what I mean? Man, it's a lot going, like it's a lot going on. That blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is how it works. So yeah, Hollywood, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Miss AKA Lace, like, wait, deal, you got a tape out there? I sure do. There's a bunch of stuff out there I've done. It's out there somewhere, right? And and think about it, like for everything you see on TV, for every series or movie or whatever, there's probably 100 versions of that thing floating around. They call them sizzle reels, or they call them where they pitch presentations these days, right? So they'll actually film something like a trailer and send it into the studio or use it as a tool in the pitch. This is what it's going to kind of look like. Yeah, bro. I've been in God, at least 10 that I can think of that I've done just for friends. Like, hey, my buddy Sam Tripoli asked me to play a DJ. He was doing a short, actually probably for YouTube. I didn't even know about YouTube back then. I think he might have been doing it for YouTube, but yeah, he was doing a short and he asked me to be a DJ in this short. And we filmed at one of the locations where I was doing a comedy show. So we actually filmed in the venue where I did the comedy shows. He was like, hey man, I just need you to come up here to be the DJ. He gave me a line. So I was like, bet, I'll do it. So there's that. The one I was just telling you about with the sex scene when I played the black guy, the mysterious black guy who was smashing the snow bunny, right? Because her boyfriend wanted to go watch football with the fellas. Yeah, I did that. There's the documentary I did for it's called 16 Right 16. Let me find it for you. I'll drop it in the chat if y'all want to check it out. Yeah, my friend Marty, Marie Taylor Go, she's a up and coming director right now in Hollywood. As a matter of fact, she has 2 movies out. She has a horror film that she did, and she just released another film here within the next, I guess within the past few months. I'm gonna get Marty on here. She was doing a couple shorts. I did 2 shorts for her. One short, I played like the supervisor for this horror short thing she did. All I had to do was wear my suit and stand in the doorway like this, looking at one of my employees. He did all the work. I was just kind of looking at him like, what are you doing? And I walked by in another scene with some documents in my hand, and I look at him like, what the hell are you doing? No, I had no dialogue, nothing. I just had to be there for that. And then she did one where it was a parody of the Avengers, and I played no, it wasn't a parody of the Avengers. It was a parody of what's the one when it's the mirror on the wall, who's the finest of them all? That movie, it was that, not the fairy tale, but the actual movie they did on that. I had to play the mirror. So yeah, it was, yeah, bro. I got some stuff out there. So let me find that 16 Right documentary. I think I can find the trailer and put it in the chat so y'all can check it out. I was in the trailer too. So nope, I can't find it. But I did find the YouTube, and this was Brian Terwilder. Shout out to Brian. See if I can find it. Yeah, shout out to Brian Terwilder. He's a really good filmmaker. He did this, and I'm gonna find this and I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all. Now that I brought it up, now I gotta find it for y'all. And trying to find. There's the opening sequence. Look, my no hands. Oh man. He released he walked around with this trailer. So what Brian did when he wanted to do this movie, real quick, I just tell you about this. He wanted to make this movie and he was looking to get investors, right? So he's in the business. He's a cool kid in Hollywood. He's established. Had this idea. He's a pilot. He loves flying. And he had this idea to do this documentary about the love of flying. And he wanted to do the documentary centered on the Van Nuys Airport, which is like very historic in the aviation world, right? And that's where I worked. So he couldn't get traditional funding to do it. He pitched it, and no one in Hollywood wanted to touch it. So he was like, all right, he has some money. and he wanted to go ahead and raise money to make this documentary because it was a passion. So he went around and would try to pitch it to people and just kind of no one was interested. So what he did was he invested in himself. Like guys, we're always telling you, invest in yourself. He invested in himself, and he went and got some equipment, called in some favors, and he made a trailer. So instead of doing a verbal pitch, he would show you, this is what I'm trying to do. And not only did he use that to actually get some funding from a corporation, but he would use that to get people to be involved. So he's going around the airport doing his thing, and somehow through multiple friends, he comes to me. You know, someone was like, hey, you go talk to my friend Brian. Maybe you can help him because you're out there in Hollywood doing comedy and stuff. All right. So I met him, and then he showed me what he was doing. And I'm looking at this trailer, and I'm like, oh, man, that's amazing. And I'm like, bro, I'd love to be involved. Anything you need, anything I can do for you. So he interviewed me. It was like, I was one of probably hundreds of people he interviewed, and the interview made the movie. So so there's a YouTube channel, and I don't see what I'm looking for here. I'm gonna see if I can't find his official. Here he is. I found his official website, and he's still selling it. 1/6 right. I got a copy. I got posters. I mean, this was a great movie. It has some stars in this movie, like some very famous people. Joyride 2. I'm not seeing anything. What I'll do is I'll just put this in the chat, and you guys can kind of check it out. And if you want to support Brian, I don't know what he's charging for the movie these days, but if you want to support, please do. But this is a very old project, man. We did this a long time ago, and this is still pretty big within the aviation community. But it's 1/6 right, so like 1/6R, which is how we number the airports and the runways at the airport. And he kind of talks about that as well. He talks to a lot of pilots. There's a link to his in the chat. There's a link to his website where you can see some small clips that you have on there. Yeah, just check that out. Let me know what y'all think. You know what I mean? And brother Cody's laughing at his sister, Miss AKA lady. I was gonna say that, but I bit my tongue. Boy, you ain't bite your tongue there, Cody. And brother Cody is like, damn, 10 casting couches. Yeah, well, it was more. Hey, if I got 10 rows, that means it had to be at least 3 times the amount as far as casting couches, bro. You know what I mean? Because hey, sometimes they run that finesse. You give them what they want, and they're like, that part just got filled. So sorry. Someone else got that role. But hey, man, ain't no shame to my game, bro. Y'all know I'm a beast. I don't care. So yeah, man, this was fun. I'm glad y'all rock with me, man. I'm just sitting over here talking in circles now, but I wanted to really talk about that Hollywood, why Hollywood is undefeated. I love it when Joe Rogan talks about this kind of stuff, and I pull it up right away. I'll be back probably Monday. I don't think I'm going to do anything Friday. I might change my mind. I don't think so though. I'll be putting out shorts though. I'll probably do another short, maybe 2 over the weekend. And then the DL shorts, and of course I'll be doing those 1-minute clips for YouTube shorts as well. So I'll be doing that over the weekend. I'll be back Monday 6 o'clock to talk about something. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about yet. Maybe I'll talk about how to deal with hateful people. I got that on my board. I'm sure we can really have a good conversation about that. Maybe I can get a hold of my friend Marty. Marty's agreed to do the interview. Is just she's busy, like she's in Hollywood, and it's crazy out there, bro. Like I said, you could go to bed on Monday, wake up on Tuesday, and they're like, hey, we need you to fly to Zurich to direct this film, and we need you there by Thursday. You know what I mean? So Hollywood moves like that, bro, and the money be just crazy, bro. Crazy. The private jets and all that kind of stuff is the real deal. Like, you know what I mean? So maybe we'll have Marty sometime next week. We're definitely going to be talking some more red pill stuff, talking about relationships. And I'm still trying to get a female panel. I want to talk about the struggles of women today's dating market, today's dating world. So Miss AKA lady, we already know if I can get Miss Globe Girl on here that she'll jump on. I'm going to see if I can get, I know I can get Suzette to do it. I just want to get one or two more. Maybe I'll talk to Shushu from over there, Black Man on Filters Network. Her brother Mandrill is always helping me out. I definitely want to talk to some. Maybe I can get Coach K as well. I want to talk to some sisters and find out, okay, what are y'all going through out there? Like, what is it that we're missing as guys? What is going on? You know what I mean, from the female point of view, out there in the sexual marketplace. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to get that going within the next couple of weeks or so, y'all. We'll see how that works out. Again, thanks for rocking out with me, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I do stuff because I want to do it. It's just fun. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I know everybody come out big when we talking about the relationships and all that. Also, for anyone out there, for you younger folks out there, the Federal Aviation Administration will be hiring again, I think in May. Let me check. So there's going to be another hire for air traffic controllers. Again, that's a great career, guys. That is a great career. You get into the FAA, you'll within 5 years or less, you'll be six figures plus. Promise you. All you need is a high school diploma. No college is necessary or required. All the training is paid for by the government. It is a great career, especially for young single people. There is an age cutoff. And I don't want to tell you the wrong age, but there is an age cutoff. You have to apply by a certain age. I want to say it's 31 and a half, but don't quote me quite yet. But we're definitely going to do another video on that, kind of let people know what the process is. It is the government. The hiring process is run by the government. Y'all know what that is. So they don't have the best programs, let's say, when you go to fill out all your information and all that, but it's worth jumping through the hoops. It really is. It's a great career. I did 25 plus years myself. I'm telling you, it is a great career, and it's a great foundation to go and build wherever you want to build. You know what I mean? If you want to go off and do other things, there's plenty of opportunity for you to work, be an air traffic controller by day and a comedian by night, which is what I did. Or if you want to be an actor, you could do that. Or if you want to build your own business, if you want to go out and buy extra real estate, if you want to, whatever it is you want to do as an air traffic controller, you'll have the financial foundation to sit back and figure out how you're going to make even more money. So that's coming up, guys. I'm definitely going to do another show on that. I'm going to get Jay Swans to help me out on that because he knows way more than I do. And we'll have some representatives from the FAA and from the Air Traffic Control Union, if we can find them to help us out with that as well. So, all right, that's it, y'all. I'm out. I'm about to go cook some dinner for my daughter, make something for me. And I hope y'all had a good time watching this tonight, man. Thank y'all so much for all y'all support. I really, really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I'll be seeing y'all around, man. Like I said, I'll be back here Monday at 6. Not sure what the show is going to be about, but I'll be here. All right, I'm going to holler at y'all, man. Peace.
You big dummy.
Uh-oh. Big. I hit the wrong button. Let's do that again. All right, I'm going to see y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.